to do this task. Either this task is beyond your ability to bear and execute, that option one, obvious, or this task actually you barely will be able to do it, and you will be actually exhausted as you are going to execute it, or the task within the scope of what you should do and what you be able to do and what you will be accountable for. Common sense. If you are an employee somewhere, you're always faced with one of those three options. But when it comes to Islam, what is our ability and who will define the ability? We know it is in our ability as a human being to fast. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made it mandatory a human being to fast. And fasting could be different from Christianity to Judaism to Islam. In Islam, we have 30 days to fast. Made it clear, it is mandatory. And when that rule requires some adjustment and modification, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was the one who provided those modifications, whether you're a traveler or whether you're sick and you cannot. But as a rule, you have to fast. As a human being who believes in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you have to fast. So the first point I wanted to highlight, it is not you who will define your ability and the scope of what you could do. And I'll come to this in more detail a little later. Because that is the first misconception about what is our ability. Now, the second point in this ayah, لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها. We spoke about the other part, al-wisa', the ability. What about the first part, التكليف? ما هو التكليف? What is the responsibility here? What is the responsibility imposed on us by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, defined to us by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Is it to pray 5 times a day, to pay a few dollars from your money, and you consider it the zakah, and you go once in a lifetime to Hajj, you fast 30 days, and if you do little extra, you do some humbleness and khushu' during night prayer, and you consider yourself you're the most perfect Muslim, you perform your duty, you are a role model human being. Is that what is the responsibility defined by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? And if that's really the responsibility imposed on us or defined to us by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you question, and I wanted to throw here a question in the mind of everyone. Why would Bilal bin Rabah endure the torture and the brutality of torture and suffering in the desert of Mecca? And all what he was asked to do, just change. He doesn't need to do much, just change the word. Doesn't say the word La ilaha illallah. He could have went to pray in the most humble prayer. He could have been with the Prophet. Is that what Abdurrahman bin Auf understood? When he needed to migrate, he has to give up all his gold and merchant and trade. Is that the responsibility defined by Allah? The Sahaba and the first companion could be the best people in their humbleness, in their prayer, in their paying zakah, in their fasting. Some of them wanted even to fast every day. They saw the Prophet fasting every day. They said, we wanted to fast every day. We want to do night prayer every day. But is that what they understood? And had they performed the best prayer and the best fasting, would you ever heard about Islam? If the scope and the responsibility of what they needed to do was that one, they could have been the most pious people inside the masjid. And that's it. What is the responsibility? The responsibility of the human being was defined by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala before Prophet Muhammad was born and before the Quran was revealed to this earth. The responsibility of the human being, and no matter who you are as a human being, no matter what religion you follow, your responsibility defined when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created the first human being, created Adam, and disclosed the news to the angel and to the universe. And he told them, وَإِذْ قَالَ رَبُّكَ لِلْمَلَائِكَةِ إِنِّي جَاعِلٌ فِي الْأَرْضِ خَلِيفَةً. And when your Lord said to the angel, I'm appointing someone as my deputy on earth, someone as a trustee, someone as a ruler, as my vicegerent. وَإِذْ قَالَ رَبُّكَ لِلْمَلَائِكَةِ إِنِّي جَاعِلٌ فِي الْأَرْضِ خَلِيفَةً قالوا أتجعل فيها من يفسد فيها ويسفك الدماء ونحن نسبح بحمدك ونقدس لك قال إني أعلم ما لا تعلمون. So our role, your role and my role is to be the deputy, is to be the trustees of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on this earth. Our role, which was defined by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to improve the world for and on behalf of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to rule people, to apply the orders and recommendations of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala among people, animal, and non-living things. And either we will have minute role or we will have a role as big as the universe. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave you this earth, gave you all its resources, gave you what you can do to make it successful and to make it habitable, and assign you and gave you a very high position, you as a human being, regardless. Before this is even before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed Christianity and Judaism and Zabur and Quran. He defined the role of a human being to be his agent, his deputy. Your role is big. Your role is the universe. Your role is beyond even the human being to every living and non-living thing on this earth. So it is you who will decide which role you want to take. A very minute role, and whenever someone asks you to do something, you say, لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها. I have nothing to do with this. I have nothing to do with that. I cannot do this. I cannot contribute. I cannot help that. I cannot help this. لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها. And we run away. We run away from our role. We run away from our scope. We run away from our ability when we pull the plug and say, لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها. What is your wisa'? Who will define it? It depends if you are angry or sad, or if you don't have time, or now you are so busy, you're making so much money that you don't have even time to pray. لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها. Let's combine all these prayers together. لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها. I need my money to invest it for my retirement, for my children. I need to invest it for the stock. Why do I need to pay this money for the masjid? Why do I need to pay this money for the orphan? لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها. I have a few $1 million, but I can pay a few $100 every year. لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها. You cannot define the wisa'. And that is the mistake we've been doing days and night. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala appoint you. It's like when you are in a company now and they tell you, you are in charge. You have to make the most important decision. You are responsible for so many employees. You are responsible for so much asset. What do? You go to sleep and say, لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها. I have nothing to do with this. So the role, you are the Khalifa. As a human being, you are the deputy. You are the trustees of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on this earth. And that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave you this role and left you alone and tell you to go? No. Immediately, if we go to the next ayah, and what did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us to succeed? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created us, appointed us as Khalifa, made us responsible, and then told us, what do you need? I'll give you the means to succeed. And immediately he gave Adam what he didn't even give the angel. وَعَلَّمَ آدَمَ الْأَسْمَاءَ كُلَّهَا ثُمَّ عَرَضَهُمْ عَلَى الْمَلَائِكَةِ فَقَالَ أَنْبِئُونِي بِأَسْمَاءِ هَؤُلَاءِ إِن كُنتُمْ صَادِقِينَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the first he did, he gave Adam knowledge. He gave him the name of all the nature and all the living things and non-living things. The ayah said, and he taught Adam the names, all of them. Then he presented them into the angel and he said, now tell me the names of these if you speak truly. The name of nature, the name of reality, the name of living things and non-living things. And some ulama even said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala taught Adam among the very first things, the 99 names which we all aspire sometimes to memorize. The 99 most beautiful names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Allah gave Adam the knowledge and gave you as a human being, as the son of Adam, He gave you access to this knowledge if you wanted to take it. And gave you all these science and access to science. And gave you all these resources actually to utilize what you have on this earth. So He gave you the equipment to succeed, so you would not be a failure. And I would not elaborate on this, but I will elaborate just a little bit about the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Why are those names important? Why we encourage ourselves and our kids to really know these names? Why? Because as a Khalifa, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala clearly wants us to He wants us to be in charge to execute His rule on this earth. He wants us to be justice and establish justice. He wants us to be grateful to Him. And as He is in charge, He told us actually His name, which an attribute we should depict in our life and apply in our life. So and I'll mention some of those names when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahim, the most merciful, the source of peace, the ever-forgiving, the ever-sustaining, the constrictor, the expander, the demoter, the promoter, the exalting, the humiliator, the forbearer, the great, the all-forgiving, the thankful, the most beneficent, the wise, the most glorious, the truth, the first, the last, the avenger, the pardoner, the equitable, the benefactor, the light, the guide, Al-Hadi, Al-Basit, Al-Rafi', Al-Qabid, Al-Jabbar, Al-Mutakabbir, Al-Mun'im. Asma, these names for us to know and know what is the characters of this name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When we say Allah the most merciful, it's by default if I am the deputy and representing Allah on this earth. So how should I treat others? In cruelty? If my boss and my creator is telling me He is the most merciful, He is the ever-forgiving, He is the judge, He is the just, He is the wise, He is the generous. So by default, I should depict those in my daily life. And that's why sometimes it's important to know those names, and it's important that we apply it in our daily life. And part of al-asma, part of the names, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave knowledge and sources of knowledge to Adam and to the children of Adam. And we could go into detail of this, but the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala take special attribute here that we need to apply it. We need to memorize it and apply it in our daily life. So that is the Khalifa. And we said what would help him to succeed, and we spoke about it briefly. But another thing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave the human being, when He created them, He gave them the amana, He gave them the trust. And we know a verse well known, إِنَّا عَرَضْنَا الْأَمَانَةَ عَلَى السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ وَالْجِبَالِ فأبين أن يحملنها وحملها الإنسان إنه كان ظلوما جهولا. In the verse of which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala described how He gave the trust, the amana to the human being. And the human being was ignorant. He did not carry it. And why this? Why here the mountain, the universe, everything was mentioned here that they would not accept this trust, but the human being was given. When the amana was given, it was given along with freedom to choose, with the willpower, with the capacity to understand right from wrong. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made every creation He made, they follow one rule. The angel, they worship him. The devil, they disobey him. The mountain, they worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They have one choice. Only human beings have two choices. You can choose. But that choice and that freedom come with responsibility. And for that reason, and without going into detail, because it looked like the time is coming, we probably could, this by itself, how the amana and how the trust given to human being, and how human being here took it. And we see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made it clear that human being could go into the lowest level of that amana, as a human being was created from dust. He could go to the dust level. And a human being could go as high as be closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, where when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala breathed from His soul into the human being. فَإِذَا سَوَّيْتُهُ وَنَفَخْتُ فِيهِ مِنْ رُوحِي فَقَعُوا لَهُ سَاجِدِينَ. A human being could go into the lowest nature of being close to the dust. All what they care about, something which eventually will go to the dust, your instinct, your ghara'is, your money, what will happen to it? Or you could go to the highest nature and be even higher than the angel and be someone who cares, someone who established the rule and law and mercy and kindness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, understand His role on this earth. And to avoid being late, I'll stop here and we'll elaborate in the second khutbah briefly. أقول هذا القول وأستغفر الله لي ولكم فيا فوز المستغفرين استغفر الله العظيم. الحمد لله حمدا كثيرا كما أمر واشكره هو الذي وعد المزيد لمن شكر عباد الله اتقوا الله فيما أمر وانتهوا عما نهى عنه وزجر وأخرجوا حب الدنيا من قلوبكم فإنه إذا استولى أثر واعلموا أن ربكم أمركم بأمر عميم بدأ فيه بنفسه وثنى بملائكة قدسه وعرشه فقال تعالى إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل وسلم وشرف وبارك وعظم هذا النبي وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. I tried to define today a misconception about what is our ability and what is our responsibility. The topic is too big. I tried to bring some highlight about the topic, but because we use it so often as a way to justify our laziness, as a way to justify our disconnect from what we should do, whereas the verse exactly the opposite, it imposes on us a responsibility which, if we understand it, it probably would keep us awake all night. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us the responsibility and gave us the freedom and gave us the choice and told us where to go. It is tough time, it is difficult time. It is difficult time to everyone. It is at this time when the good nature of a human being to come forward, to show the care, to show the generosity, at a time when nobody cares about any other human, to go and show care to your neighbor, to your brother, to your relative. At a time even when the donation to Muslim institution and Islamic institution and many masajids have been complaining of donation being dried down and dried up and there is no donation. It is at this time to know the scope and the responsibility of what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told you about, that this masajid, this institution, it is His house. It is a place where it would bring light. It is a time where you need to go and know if you have the ability, if you have the means to it, if you have the money, if you have the time, wherever you are, in any town you are, our community needs every piece of time, every piece of money, every piece of skills. It is at this time to know that we have to go the extra mile to look after our community and to look after everyone in our community. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said this verse to every human being. He didn't say to Muslim, and I wanted to emphasize this. This is the role of human being. This is the role of a good human, good citizen, whatever you call it. This is the role of a human, understand the need of other human and get connected to that human. So for that reason, I thought of sharing with you actually that meaning, and I hope in another khutbah at some point, because the second part actually, it elaborates more on the trust, the amana, the good nature, the highest nature, and the lowest nature of us, and how could we go into each direction, and how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us the option to go in each direction. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made it fully free to us, but He gave us the manual, He gave us the direction, and He gave us the responsibility, and He defined it. So we need to know in this situation, what is our responsibility at this time? Not how I define it when I want to be lazy and just shun away. So I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help us understand every verse of the Quran. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help us apply every verse of the Quran. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help us understand Quran the same way Bilal understood Quran, and Ammar understood Quran, and Abdul Rahman bin Auf understood Quran, and Usama bin Mu'adh understood Quran, and every person who understood the message and the responsibility and the role of a Khalifa, and how they apply it in their life, and how by understanding that role, they turn from a human being who could be limited into very minute role into human being who brought justice and kindness and mercy and knowledge in every corner of the universe. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help us be a role model. And before I make dua, I wanted to mention something really special here before the dua, and I'll mention it in my dua. If something we've missed in this masjid, we have missed in the past 2-3 weeks a very smiling face. We all know the face who would always be keen to keep this masjid clean. No matter who you are, whether you're from this community or not, he would smile in your face. I have to say, I really missed seeing Hajj Muhammad. I cannot forget for a second. The smile, I see it in his face. May Allah bless him and bless his soul. May Allah make the effort he made to clean this masjid, to house him in the highest level of paradise. We lost Hajj Muhammad, but we need to know, someday all of us will follow. Someday all of us will be in that little grave. So remember Hajj Muhammad. For many, many years, he was working diligent to keep this masjid clean. He went beyond and above what other people even do. He was very sick. He would barely breathe. And the team actually would tell me some days he would barely be able to breathe. And he would come, he wanted to keep the masjid clean. He wanted to make sure that you enjoy the prayer. So we missed him. And we missed many other brothers. Yesterday, one of the youth actually, who would be active in this masjid, who used to be active in this masjid, Brother Marwan Ghabbour. We lost him. May Allah bless his soul, elevate his soul to the highest level of paradise. He was a keen person. Although I may have met him, but honestly, when I ask about him, everyone was speaking about him, how kind and how a person who would go beyond what other people even do to be kind and to be available to others. And he joined the army, and he joined the US Army because he wanted to protect a human being from injustice. And we're proud of him. We're proud of everyone to go and prevent injustice on this earth. May Allah bless his soul, and may Allah bless the soul of every person who died in our community in the past few months and few years. And we have also another brother who is going to have major surgery apparently in the next few days, and I was asked to make dua, Brother Abdullah Ahmed. So we'll make dua inshallah for him and for every person who is sick. اللهم يا ولي الإسلام وأهله ثبتنا به حتى نلقاك. اللهم يا ولي الإسلام وأهله ثبتنا به حتى نلقاك. اللهم لا تدع لنا في هذه الساعة المباركة ذنبا إلا غفرته، ولا هما إلا فرجته، ولا دينا إلا قضيته، ولا مريضا إلا شفيته، ولا مريضا إلا شفيته، ولا مريضا إلا شفيته، ولا مريضا إلا شفيته، ولا حاجة لك بها صلاح لك بها رضا ولنا بها صلاح إلا تفضلت علينا بقضائها يا قاضي الحاجات. Oh Allah, protect us, protect ourselves, protect our family, protect our community, protect every human being. Oh Allah, bless those people who are working on the vaccination to overcome Corona and COVID-19. Oh Allah, bless them and support them and help them and give them the wisdom and give them the knowledge in order to eliminate that illness and that disease. Oh Allah, cure every person who got afflicted by COVID-19. Oh Allah, cure every person who is afflicted by that disease. Oh Allah, cure every person who is afflicted by any disease, whether by cancer or diabetes or any other disease. Oh Allah, cure all our patients. Oh Allah, cure all our patients. Oh Allah, cure all our patients. Oh Allah, our brother Abdullah Ahmed, make the surgery easy for him and have him come up after the surgery, inshallah, with good health and with good iman. أقول هذا القول وأستغفر الله وأقم الصلاة.
الله أكبر الله أكبر وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
دائما وابدا لا اله الا الله اللهم رب هذه القائمة آت سيدنا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم الوسيلة والفضيلة والدرجة العالية رفع التي وعدته إنك لا تخلف الميعاد. استووا إلى الصلاة يرحمني ويرحمكم الله. استووا ولا تختلفوا أثابني وأثابكم الله. استووا. الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. وإذ قال ربك للملائكة إني جاعل في الأرض خليفة قالوا أتجعل فيها من يفسد فيها ويسفك الدماء ونحن نسبح بحمدك ونقدس لك قال إني أعلم ما لا تعلمون. وعلم آدم الأسماء كلها ثم عرضهم على الملائكة فقال أنبئوني بأسماء هؤلاء إن كنتم صادقين. قالوا لا علم لنا فلما أنبأهم بأسمائهم قالوا لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. آمن الرسول بما أنزل إليه من ربه والمؤمنون كل آمن بالله وملائكته وكتبه ورسله لا نفرق بين أحد من رسله وقالوا سمعنا وأطعنا غفرانك ربنا وإليك المصير. لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها لها ما كسبت وعليها ما اكتسبت ربنا لا تؤاخذنا إن نسينا أو أخطأنا ربنا ولا تحمل علينا إصرا كما حملته على الذين من قبلنا ربنا ولا تحملنا ما لا طاقة لنا به واعف عنا واغفر لنا وارحمنا أنت مولانا فانصرنا على القوم الكافرين. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.
Bismillah, walhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salam ala Rasulillah. Oh Allah, please accept all of us, please forgive all of us, Ya Allah. My dear brothers and sisters, actually, every week after Jummah, it is kind of embarrassing asking for money. But guess what? Asking money for Allah's house is not embarrassing at all. Because imagine that Allah is the Ganiyun and Nahnu Fuqara. When Allah is asking for loan, Allah doesn't need your money and my money. Allah is asking to donate, do the charity for our own good. If we donate, it is for our own good. If we donate for the family, it's good for the family. So that means what I am saying, that please do not leave the envelope empty. Do your best and do not leave it empty. It's kind of embarrassing. So please don't get upset with us. We are asking for money. If we had the money, the masjid, we won't be asking you. So this is the house of Allah. We all together, we unite. And we, inshallah, take care of the masjid, inshallah. And Allah will take care of us, inshallah. Be happy with the family. I know it's a very tough time. But even in the tough time, tawakkaltu ala Allah, Allahumma laka aslamtu. So we submit to Allah. And who knows how long we'll be here in this dunya. But be happy, be nice with the family, be nice with the... It's a stressful time, but still you need to smile. Inshallah. And if you would like to support the masjid on a continuous basis, there are 2 kiosks you can sign, $5 a month, $10 a month, whatever you can. So inshallah, in summary, please be patient with us. We need the money, the house need the money, the house of Allah. So kindly donate generously. Jazakumullah khairan. So inshallah, we can pray Asr in 12 minutes. If you stay, inshallah, we'll make the Jamaat around 1:56 or 7, inshallah. If you have time, stay for Asr. We're going to pray Asr, inshallah, in Jamaat. All brothers and sisters are requested that you cover your nose and mouth. There is no exception, so inshallah, let's follow the rule of the masjid. It's for your health, for our health, it's good. It's a protection. Please cover your nose and mouth completely.